Welcome, everyone. We want to thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we hope that your year is off to an awesome start. My name is Maggie Thorson, and I'm the Outreach and Education Manager here at TOPS.
And my name is Taylor Patton. I'm the Publications Specialist for TOPS News.
And we are so grateful to have so many TOPS members tuning in tonight. And we're also very grateful to have speaker and wellness coach Becky Allen as our very special guest tonight. So Becky's going to be sharing a little bit about her journey and sharing the 5 Ps that will help you kickstart or restart your wellness goals. Obviously a very popular time for New Year's resolutions, and whether you're sticking to yours right now or maybe you're having a little bit of trouble, Becky is going to share a really inspirational presentation tonight, so we're so excited to have you all with us and to have Becky. So before we get started, just a few little housekeeping items, and then we'll turn it over to Becky. One is that we are going to have all of the lines muted. So if you did call in, just know that we do keep the lines muted for the majority of the presentation, and that's just to cut down on any background noise or feedback or anything like that. You will have an opportunity to ask questions after Becky's presentation, so all you have to do is type them into your GoToWebinar chat box and then go ahead and send them our way. And then Taylor here will share as many of your questions with Becky as she can at the end of the presentation. We are at capacity, which is really exciting to have you all here. We have 500 people tuning in tonight, so we may not be able to get to everyone's questions, but we will certainly try to get to as many as we can. So the presentation itself will be about 40 minutes or so, and then we'll have about 10 to 15 minutes at the end for questions. Popular question that has come up is, will the webinar be recorded? And yes, barring any technical difficulties, the webinar is recording and will be posted in the members area of tops.org later this month. And for any of our online members joining us this evening, TOPS online facilitator Carol Holtz is inviting you to her Thursday night online member meeting where you can continue the conversation that Becky shared if you'd like. All you have to do is just log into the TOPS online chat as you normally do, and feel free to reach out to Carol Holtz with any questions that you may have. For our in-person chapter members, feel free to go ahead and carry this conversation over to your meeting next week. We're so excited to have Becky share her message with us, and this could be a really helpful thing to maybe discuss at your next chapter meeting. And then last, but certainly not least, please know that the information presented here and in all TOPS materials is educational and should never substitute for the advice of a physician or other qualified healthcare provider. Becky is awesome and inspiring, but she cannot address your specific and unique health concerns as they relate to diet or otherwise. So please, please, please always check with your physician or another licensed healthcare provider before making any changes to your nutrition or exercise program. So with that, Becky, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Wonderful. Thanks, ladies. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with you tonight to kick off 2020. Like they said, my name is Becky Allen, and tonight we're going to be talking about 5 ways to win the day, some daily shifts that you can make to reach your goals in 2020. So before we start, I like to do a little something before I present, because I don't know about you guys, but my day gets crazy, and this might be the first time all day that you've sat down. So I love to just take a moment, relax your shoulders, unclench your jaw maybe, just take a deep breath in, let it out, and just be here now. Be where your feet are. Shift from your crazy hectic day you may have had and reset to this moment right now, because that's what I want to talk with you guys tonight about is reset, and also looking forward and really being able to be present and in each day to win each day. So like I said, my name is Becky Allen. I live just outside Madison, Wisconsin. I am a mother of 2. I've got a 10-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter. And I, like many of you, I have been on a weight loss journey, a health and wellness journey of my own. And so I became a new mom a little over 10 years ago. And prior to that, I had always struggled with my weight. I felt like I had tried lots of things. I couldn't stay motivated. I couldn't find really a reason to stick to anything. And that was frustrating to me. But once I became a new mom, I found a new sense of purpose to what I was doing. And I was excited and motivated and really wanted to set a good example for my son. And I also wanted to be healthy and be my best self, to have energy to care for him and keep up with him and to really live a healthy life moving forward. So over the course of a year, I committed to making my health a priority and made some, lifestyle changes. I moved my body more. I was more mindful of what I was eating. And over time, that added up to a 40-pound weight loss. And I went from a size 14 to a 4. And of course, I was ecstatic to finally have reached my goal and have been able to maintain that for 10 years. And I also had a newfound sense of confidence and excitement. And I felt really like I could really do whatever I put my mind to. And that motivation really spilled over to my circles of friends and family, as I found a newfound sense of excitement for coaching others and helping other people achieve their health and wellness goals, and breaking down their larger goal into smaller plans of action and really helping them make a lifestyle change and adjustment that could serve them now and moving forward in their days. And so recently, in about the last 9 months, I've made a shift from just wellness coaching to more lifestyle coaching. There's so much overlap between, wellness and lifestyle. And I really wanted to coach people through the perspective and under the umbrella of the phrase and mantra, win the day. That's something that's become incredibly important to me over the last several years. About 2 years ago, I unfortunately became a widow. My husband passed away after his battle with testicular cancer. And he was a very vibrant, big, future forward thinker. And during his battle, he really had to shift his focus from the big picture to smaller daily goals. And his mantra and sort of battle cry became win the day. And no matter what my day looks like, based off of my circumstances and how the day presents itself, I'm going to give my best effort today and surrender everything else. And if I'm blessed enough to wake up tomorrow morning and do this again, I'm going to do the very best I can based off of the circumstances that my day presents itself. And so that really became so important to me and so many other people. And it's really been a way that I've aligned so many of the different things that I do in my life, and have found that to be such an important principle in coaching and people moving forward in any goal, especially wellness goals. So we'll talk more about winning the day as we go forward. So like the Maggie and Taylor had mentioned, tonight we're going to be talking about 5 ways to win the day, practical daily action steps that we can take in 2020 to achieve our goals. And so there's 5 P's we're going to cover tonight about how we can reach your goals in 2020. So we're going to talk about plan, purpose, perspective, praise, and people. Those are the 5 P's we'll plan to cover tonight that are essential with your reaching your goals in 2020. So the first P we're going to talk about tonight is plan. So if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Some of you might be familiar with that, but I would be willing to venture that you are hopeful that 2020 is going to take you new places this year. You are going to maintain your weight for the first time, or perhaps you're going to hit a new milestone with your weight loss goals, or you're going to continue on with your weight loss goals you've already started. But regardless of where you are now, I'm willing to bet that you're on this webinar tonight because you want to keep moving and you want to keep progressing to new places. And so just like we would not jump into a car and plan to take a road trip and just without a plan or directions or GPS using on our phone, our goals for 2020 are exactly the same way. And so we really need to take some time to think about what our goals are this year so that we can come up with a plan so that we can be sure to be successful with where we want to go this year. Perhaps some of you are continuing on from goals you set previously. Maybe some of you have already gotten to take some time to reflect on what you want your goals in 2020 to look like. Or maybe you haven't had the opportunity to do that yet. And I would really encourage you, if you're able to tonight after we're done chatting, for you to take some time and to reflect and think about what goals you want to achieve this year, where you want your plan to take you in 2020 and beyond. And of course, health and wellness goals are important, but we also know that our health and wellness has so much to do besides just a number on a scale, right? And even just our health goals, it has to do with our personal goals, our professional goals, our relationships, our mental health. There's so many areas that we can really focus on. So I would encourage you to pick goals in a couple of those different areas, as well as your health and wellness goals, and also to pick a couple health goals that don't revolve around the number on the scale. I know sometimes it can be frustrating when we don't see that number move the direction we want it to, but we have to always keep in mind that if we trust the process and the plan we've set up and keep moving forward, our goals will come to fruition. But while you're in those transition or those maybe plateau modes, if you can have some additional goals that are not related to the scale to focus on, you'll be able to stay encouraged as you continue on with your plan. So I would write down your goals, take some time and write them down several times, because physically writing them down, you're going to commit them to your memory all the more. Don't write them down in your journal and then put it on your bookshelf and never look at it again. Write it down several times and then post it where you can see your goals each day. Post one in your bathroom mirror, maybe on your desk at work or in your car, but multiple times and multiple places, these goals can be committed to your memory, because our actions will start to rise and align with our goals when we see them forward and in front of us every day. So after you've got your big goal and your big direction where you want to head this year with your health goals, we're going to want to break that goal down into smaller, bite-sized, practical goals. Because when we start something new and we're looking at the big picture, we can get overwhelmed. And when we're overwhelmed, what do? Generally nothing. And we don't want that to happen. We want there to be concrete steps that you can take forward every day to move forward with those smaller goals lining up to walk you and march you right towards your bigger goal. So maybe your goal this year is to run a marathon or a 5K, or maybe you want to lose 50 pounds, okay? So let's take that 50-pound weight loss goal, for example. 50 pounds might feel really overwhelming, and it might prevent you from taking action because you just don't know how on earth you could lose 50 pounds. But if you take that bigger goal of 50 pounds and break it down into monthly goals, that's about 4 to 5 pounds of weight loss per month. And then break that down into a weekly goal, that's about 1 pound per week. Now, losing 1 pound is way more manageable and feels way more achievable than 50 pounds, right? And when you have that broken down, you can follow that plan, you can take action steps, because it's got the simplicity set forth for you to just fold naturally right into. Now, what we're also going to want to do then is you're going to want to think about, what do your goals require of you? Now, that's going to look different for everybody, but it's important for us to take time to slow down and prepare really for the goals we've got coming. So maybe your goal this year is going to require you to be really great and on point with your nutrition. So maybe you're going to have to start incorporating some really intentional meal prepping into your weeks. So you're going to need to look at where you can in your week fit an hour or two of meal prepping in, so that you can stay on track with your eating throughout the week. Maybe you are going to need to get a new gym membership because you want to run a 5K and you need to be somewhere where you can be around a treadmill to work on that progression for you towards your running goals. Or maybe you want to eat healthier, and so you're going to need to take some time to research some new recipes. You want to add some more vegetables into your diet. So you've got to slow down, take the time, look for those new recipes, and really set yourself up for success, okay? And I think when you're writing these goals down, I want you guys to be mindful of where is the best place to start. So for example, when you're looking at your goals, maybe you're saying, okay, for me to reach this 50-pound weight loss goal and to lose 1 pound a week, I'm going to need to be drinking more water. I'm going to need to be eating a certain calorie number. I'm going to need to be moving my body a certain amount. And so over time, I want you guys to start with the simplest, easiest goal for you to be able to accomplish. So for example, maybe that's for you drinking water. Maybe you're already drinking about 60 ounces of water a week and you want to drink 100 ounces of water a week. Over time, if you start on week 1, getting that water intake every single day, you can build your confidence. You can be excited as you're celebrating these little successes. And that's not overwhelming to start with getting enough water in. Maybe the second week you want to incorporate tracking the food that you're eating, okay, a food log. So you're going to keep moving with your water intake each day, and then you're going to add in your food log. Then maybe the third week, you're going to keep with your water, with your food log, and then maybe you want to cut out sugar. And so you're going to slowly but surely add these small habit and lifestyle changes in one by one, that in a very unoverwhelming way, that those small changes compounded over time are going to add up to really big changes. Now, I want to just take a moment to recognize where some of you might be in this process, because I don't know about you, but I have started this process several times throughout my life, and many times I've been unsuccessful in starting out what I've wanted to do. And I start to become very frustrated with myself and feel guilty that I should have done better, or that I know better, or that I fell short again. And I start to harbor some guilt. And that guilt can prevent me from staying in action towards my goal. I don't know what happened previously to this day for you, what maybe knocked you off course. Maybe the holidays threw you and you lost some momentum towards your bigger goals. I don't know what heaviness you have, but I'd really encourage you to drop it and leave it behind you. It is no longer going to serve you moving forward. And if you need a new restart, if you need a new day one, let that be today. You are absolutely allowed to start a new start line today and to move forward towards your own finish line, and leaving behind all of the failed attempts behind you, because they don't matter anymore. What matters is who you are now. You've never been the version of yourself that you are today. You've never had the knowledge that you've had up until today. You are a completely new person today than you were yesterday. So allow that to be a reset for you, a restart for you, and to move forward towards your better self and your goals, with letting today be a day one start. All right, the second P we're going to move into is purpose. We want you to find your why. What do I mean by that? So currently right now, I'd like to lose about 15 pounds. I have had that kind of creep back on over the last year. And so what is my why behind those 15 pounds? Well, those 15 pounds that I want to lose are not exciting. It's not inspiring. It's not motivating. 15 pounds does not make me want to stop hitting my snooze button in the morning when I wake up. 15 pounds doesn't always help me make the best decision with my nutrition choices, but the why behind that helps me not hit my snooze button and make great health choices and move my body and stay committed to the process that's in front of me. So what are my whys? So my overarching why right now, like I'd mentioned in the beginning, is that I'm a single mom. And so I've got a full plate of life, like I'm sure many of you do. And I want the energy to be able to keep up with my kids and the demands of my day. And so I know in order for me to do that, I need to fuel myself best. I need to get proper rest, and I need to move my body and stay strong to be able to take care of my kids. So that's my overarching why. And that is what really moves me. You want your purpose to stir emotion in you, for your purpose to kind of tug at your heartstrings, and to be, maybe it even puts a lump in your throat, but it means so much to you that it overrides all the distractions that you have that are set before you. Now, just like we talked about earlier with our plan, we want to take that bigger purpose, and sometimes we want to mark it down into smaller purposes. So for example, I've got a purpose, a short-term why right now that I'm working on. So my kids and I are going to be going to Florida for their spring break in March. And we're going to be spending time at the pool and on the beach and having a great time. And when I'm on vacation with them, I don't want to be worried or consumed about how I look and feel in swimsuit or shorts. I really want to be consumed and filled with the quality time I'm getting with my kids, being at the ocean, my absolute happy place. I want to be lost in the moment with them, swimming and building sandcastles. And I don't want to be distracted by how I feel. So that why is important to me, to be in the moment with my kids. And when your why is strong enough, when your why is clear enough, detailed enough, the how becomes so simple. Because when you know your why behind your plan and your goal, the how becomes very easy, and you automatically will start wanting to get up before your alarm, or when your alarm gets up on the first time. You'll want to make healthier choices. You'll want to move your body. You'll want to be able to say yes to you and taking care of yourself and moving towards that why, and the how will become very simple. So I'd love for you guys, if you're taking notes, after this webinar is over, if you have some quiet space and time tonight, I'm going to constantly be throwing out a few different reflection questions for you guys that I'd love for you to take some time tonight or over the next couple days or weekend for you to really think about what you want and why. So what will your life look like when you accomplish this goal? When you accomplish your why, when you fulfill the reason and the purpose behind your goal, what will that look like? How will you feel? How will that change your relationships or your daily schedule or routine? What habits would that look like for you? What kind of attitude would you be displaying for other people? Take some time and really get to know the version of yourself that you can create in your mind's eye, because kind of what I mentioned before, if you can see it and you have clarity, you will naturally rise to the occasion. Your actions will align, your vision and your purpose will align in the direction that you want to go. When I was first starting my weight loss journey, I felt like I had to earn healthy. I had to earn the habits and lifestyle and label of a healthy person. And sometimes that kept me from taking action, because I felt like, well, yesterday I was eating fast food and now today I'm just going to be this healthy person. Like, that doesn't, people are going to think that I'm weird, or they're not going to believe me. And so one shift that I had to make in my purpose for myself was I had to start seeing myself and what I would look like when I accomplished my goals. I had to start seeing myself like that now, because I had to value myself and my health now. I had to tell myself that I'm a healthy person how I am now. And because I'm a healthy person, this is how healthy people eat. This is how healthy people fuel their bodies, move their bodies. And that really helped make decisions that previously were difficult, or maybe I had some trouble making. It gave me clarity on what I needed to do and where I wanted to go, because your purpose will become your fuel. It will become the thing that wakes you up in the morning, that keeps you going throughout the day, and that you're excited about when you go to bed at night. Now, maybe some of you are lacking motivation. Maybe you're feeling like, I have no idea what my why is, or I used to have a why, but maybe you accomplished the why behind your goal you had set out for. Or perhaps you reached your weight loss goal and now you're looking to maintain, and so you're looking for the next bit of motivation. So if that's you, if you're feeling like, now what? Where do I go now? How do I move forward? I would really encourage you to take some time to think larger and dream bigger. What's the next thing that you could do? Maybe you ran a 5K for the first time and you could have never, ever imagined running a 5K, that was just totally outside the realm of possibility for you. But you did it. And now maybe you need to think bigger. Maybe the next goal for you is a half marathon. Maybe it's a full marathon. And then that can start to get you excited as you're moving towards even bigger goals and challenging yourself even more. All right, the third P we're going to talk about is perspective. Now, I'm going to lean a little bit into that win the day perspective that we talked about at the beginning here. And I want you guys to really assess where you're at in this season, in this moment, in your journey. Okay, what does a season of life look like for you, and what does it look like for you to win the day? Now, I'm certainly no mind reader or fortune teller, but I would be willing to bet that many of you that are listening are facing some sort of obstacle right now, some sort of frustrating moment. Maybe you've got some kind of storm that's rolled into your life, a change, a transition. But I'm betting most of us that are here right now listening have something in life that is not going the way they had initially planned. So I don't want you guys to use that excuse or that reason as a way to limit yourself in your journey. Instead, I want you to focus on what you can do today. I was a caretaker for my husband for about 1.5 years, and it was really difficult. Some of you may have found yourself in that role. And I felt I didn't have a lot of space in my days to really focus on myself and my health. And I could have very easily fallen into the trap of, well, I can't go to the gym today because I've got to go to a doctor's appointment, or I don't have childcare, or sleep is more important today because I didn't sleep well last night, and so I can't get to the gym today. And then it very easily could have fueled into, well, since I can't do this, then I'm not going to eat well, and since I'm not going to eat well today, then I'm not going to eat well tomorrow. And you see that snowball effect starts to take place. And so we have to step away from that mindset and really step into what can we do today, because there's always going to be limitations in the season we're in, but we cannot focus on them and we can't let them stop us. So instead, on days that I couldn't get to the gym in that season of life, I would focus on my nutrition, because that's of course very important. And so we've got to eat to live, right? And so if I could be more mindful and conscious of what I was eating, make better food choices, maybe be mindful of the quantity of food I was eating that day. But I always had something that I could control to continue to move forward towards my goal. So think about that. Think about your season of life. Maybe you've just moved. Maybe you started a new job. Maybe you found yourself in a caretaker role right now. I don't know what that looks like, but within that limitation, there are still things that you can do. So focus on what that looks like. How can you move your body? Maybe you have an injury, but there's probably ways you can still move your body. How can you fuel your mind? What books can you read? What podcasts can you be listening to? How can you build your belief and your vision for where you want to go and what your life would look like when you accomplish this goal? What about self-care? Can you take care of yourself today? What does that look like? It's so easy for us to fall off of our to-do list for the day, right? We can put so many people ahead of us and in front of us, and that leaves us living and serving others from an empty space. And we've got to take the time to put ourselves on our to-do list, to give ourselves self-love and care, and to add energy back into us, because the better version we are of ourselves, the better we can take care of the people that are important to us. Okay, so make sure you're taking care of yourself in some way. Also, how can you make great food choices too? That's another one. How can you do that when you're moving through your day? You know, big goals are really important. We need things that are going to motivate us and push us. We need big whys that wake us up in the morning, keep us motivated throughout the day. But we can't just stay there. Okay, we've got to have the perspective from the big why and taking it down into a smaller daily why about how we can win the day, because we can't get to our big goal without small daily progression, small daily habits that add up to really big changes over time. Okay, so focus on those daily wins. But I don't want you guys to get so future focused and hustling and pursuing these goals that you miss where you are right now. That's why when we started, I wanted you guys to take a deep breath and to be here now. Don't be so focused on where you aren't, to where you're supposed to be, or where you should be, or where you want to go, that you miss what's happening in front of you right now, because we don't know where our story is going to take us and what happens tomorrow. So do the best you can with what you're given today. Take your journey one day at a time as you pursue your better self. All right, let's move on to the fourth P. How you guys doing? You guys with me still here? Let's talk about praise, okay? Praise, we want to celebrate you. I want you to be excited about every single win that you fought for along your journey, every single accomplishment, every single milestone, no matter how big or small that is. I want you to be celebrating and so excited and proud of everything that you earn along the way. because the becoming is in the journey, right? Because once you complete this journey, there's going to be another process to get you on another journey to another place. And so you're going to learn so many things about who you are, what you're made of, what you're capable of along the way. And I want you guys to celebrate that every single step of the way. Might feel silly some days to be excited about not hitting your snooze button, or about completing a workout at the gym, or making great food choices all day long, or losing 1 pound. Okay, don't let those wins get lost. Let those be significant, because those small wins over time, you're celebrating successfully changing your habits. And day in and day out, everything that you can celebrate, that you can link together, that you can build on and moving forward, you're celebrating because it's amounting to who you're becoming. And you're celebrating and reinforcing that good behavior because we want you to develop an addiction to the process. We want you to be excited about the movement, even if it's small, it's movement forward, and that is totally worth celebrating. All of these small progressions and things like we talked about, those will continue to add up over time. And those things added up over time are going to be what gets you to your great big goal. So be excited about those daily wins. Maybe you've got a space in your home that you can post them, where you can see, where you can stand in front of on days you're feeling defeated or not motivated. You can go stand in front of all the things you've accomplished and see all the little stones that you stepped on to get you to where you are today, and be excited about where they're going to take you tomorrow. Now, I know sometimes our excitement and praise can maybe not feel authentic because we can get caught up in the comparison game. But I want to encourage you guys to stay in your lane and out of the comparison game, because everybody is different and every body is different. We a lot of times see people's highlight reel and we don't know what was cut out of their story or what was behind the scenes that happened. We don't know what people are dealing with inside their homes or inside whatever they've got going on. And some people are going to lose weight quickly. Some people are going to lose weight slowly. Some people, it's easy for them to maintain. Other people, it's difficult. And we cannot get caught up in the comparison game at all. I want you guys to stay focused in your lane and excited about where you're going. And we can't control other people's efforts, but we can control our own. Really the only two things in life that we can control, because there's very little that we can control, but we can control our attitude and we can control our effort. Okay, so we can come into any situation and choose our attitude, if we're going to be positive, and what our outlook's going to be, and we can always control our effort. Okay, how much effort we're putting forward within those 24 hours to win the day. We can't control other people's, but we can control our own. So make sure you stay out of that comparison game and stay in your own lane. One other thing I want to talk about here while we're talking about celebrating and praise is I want to make sure that your self-talk reflects your praise about yourself, because we can be our own worst critic, can't we? I mean, I know some of the things that I say to my own self are terrible. I would never say them to my daughter. I wouldn't even speak them out loud in another person's presence, because there's some pretty harsh things. And I'd be willing to say that maybe some of the harsh things I speak to myself are things you guys have spoke to yourself as well. But what starts to happen is we let these thoughts sort of go uncontrolled, as we can start to believe them, and then it's going to inhibit us from taking action towards our goals. And so we need to hold those thoughts captive and stop listening to ourselves and start talking to ourselves. So one of the ways that I've been able to do that myself and other people that I've coached is to come up with belief cards. And so I'll get a stack of about 10 index cards, or however many you prefer, and write down positive affirming statements as if you already are those things. I am strong, I am healthy, I am beautiful, whatever that looks like for you. I'm a marathon runner. Have those things down in the present tense and use those to build a new belief system, a new praise system for yourself. Because again, once you start to tell yourself something enough times, you're going to believe them. So over time, you are going to believe you're capable, and that you are a marathon runner, and that you are a healthy person, and your actions, your attitude, your effort will align to rise to meet those things. So how are we going to celebrate along the way? Okay, that's going to look different for everyone, but take your big goal and your plan that you've got to come up with it, and those smaller bite-sized parts of your plan that we've got. And I want you to check mark and write off different places along the way that you can celebrate and be excited about. And then what would get you excited to reach those goals and to celebrate along the way? Maybe for you, it's new clothes, a smaller size, perhaps. Maybe it's a massage, some time at the spa, vacation, time away. Maybe it's a new pair of workout shoes. Or maybe if you're like me, it's all of those things. But think about what those things that would be exciting for you to celebrate, and how you can match those to where you're going to keep you excited along your journey. All right, the fifth P that we're going to talk about tonight is people. What is the number one reason people fail in achieving a goal? It is absolutely lack of community. Like I mentioned earlier, I've been coaching in the wellness field for about 10 years, and there is such a large distinction between people who have a positive, like-minded community and people who do not have a positive, supportive community. If you're in a community of people that have what you want, are going where you want to go, you are way significantly more likely to achieve the goal that you've got in front of you. So I would encourage you guys, here's another reflection question I'd love for you guys to think about is, do you have positive, like-minded people in your community? Are the people in your life moving the same direction that you want to move? Do they want to make the same changes or adjustments? Do they have the same destination of where you want to go? Are they continually improving themselves? Are they putting forth a positive attitude and great effort? Or perhaps you even want to include some people in your journey who've already achieved what you've achieved, and you can look to them as inspiration and mentors. And when you're feeling stuck, you can reach to them and they can help encourage you and give you insight because they've been in your shoes before. They know what you might be feeling, and they can help encourage you if you're feeling stuck. You know, who is your inner circle? I'm sure many of you have heard before that we are the sum of the 5 people we spend the most time with. You know, you'll start talking like your friends. You might start dressing like your friends. I know I'll show up to dinner sometimes wearing a very similar outfit to my girlfriends, but it's because we spend a lot of time together. We like the same things. We shop at the same places. No wonder they are in my circle. And we get to choose those people who are in our inner circle. And whether or not we realize that we are influencing people or people are influencing us, that is always an exchange that is happening with the time that we're spending with everyone. So who is in your inner circle? Who are those 5 people that you aspire to be like, that you want in your circle cheering for you? And maybe that's something that you've got to make some changes on to make sure you're aligned with the right people in your circles. And also be seen. One of the things that when I've been most successful in reaching my own goals or the people I've coached with is it's the people who are talking, the people that are showing up, the people who are sharing their goals, they're checking in with their support in their community. They are honest about where they've been and where they want to go because they know that they are responsible to their own purpose and goals, but they've also shared that with other people to help keep them responsible and moving towards their bigger goals. And so what's so great about TOPS is you guys have that built in. You know, maybe you're brand new to this journey and maybe nobody in your life right now is moving and looking to make better health and wellness choices. Maybe people in your circle are not wanting to be a better version of themselves. And so this might be a time where you lean into the TOPS community and you really create some new relationships and you look for people that have a similar weight loss goal for you, someone who's maintaining or wanting to lose 10 pounds or 50 pounds or 100 pounds or run a marathon or a 5K. I don't know what that looks like for you, but I know you're not the only one with that goal. And so when you can find other like-minded people to surround you, to encourage you, to be accountable to, not only will you be way more likely to reach your goal, but they will be able to much more likely to reach your goal as well. So how cool that you guys have that built into TOPS. You don't have to go looking to make, you know, new friends. You've already got such a great place to choose from where people are already wanting to rise to be that better version of themselves. Okay, that's the 5 Ps that I've got for you guys tonight. Just to kind of overview quickly, we want you guys to come up with a plan. Take that bigger plan of where you want to go, that goal you want to achieve, and break it down. Break it down into smaller bite-sized pieces that you can achieve and that you can move towards. Then we want you to come up with a purpose. Don't be so focused on the goal, on the pounds or on distance, but be focused on the purpose behind those numbers. Why does this matter to you, and why will it keep you moving forward? Then what's your perspective? Don't get caught up in the limitations. Be focused on what you can control and how you can move forward and win the day 24 hours at a time to continually be moving towards your goals. Praise, don't forget to celebrate yourself along the way. Every step you're taking, every win that you are building is moving you forward in the direction of where you want to go. And then people, make sure you are surrounding yourself with like-minded people who are going where you want to go or already are where you want to go, because that will make all the difference. That's all that I've got for you guys tonight. I know we were going to do a Q&A, which I'm excited to connect with you guys more, but I also wanted to give you a couple other ways to connect with me, moving forward from tonight. I've got a website, winthedaypro.com, with a blog where I'm sharing different insight each day about how we can shift our lenses to be able to give ourselves grace as we're moving forward towards a larger picture. And then on Facebook and Instagram, my name is at Win the Day Pro. I'd love to connect with you on there. And then my email address as well, because if you are looking for accountability or you want someone to celebrate, I would love to be a cheerleader for you. I would love to celebrate with you and to hear about your journey and your story as it continues to unfold. So that's all I've got. I'll turn it back over to Taylor and Maggie.
All right. Thanks so much, Becky. That was so awesome. We've got some questions just streaming in here. Cindy says hi from Tennessee. She said she loved it. We've got Mary, and she's asking, how do I conquer a food craving?
How do you what?
Conquer a food craving.
Great question. So typically a couple different things have worked for me, but I've noticed you've got to notice when the habit is or the craving is coming. And so mine typically is about 8:30 at night when my day is unwinding and I feel like I've earned or I deserve something. And so I've changed my routine. So typically I would sit downstairs and I would watch TV, and then that's where I would find my cravings coming. So instead I'll grab maybe like a water, or I'll pick a healthier version like of a craving, or just if I want to be eating food, like maybe I'll grab some almonds or something, and I move upstairs to my room and I'll watch TV up there or read, but I'll try to change the other habits that are supporting that craving to help redirect my actions.
Awesome. Stephanie from Halifax, Nova Scotia says, I don't have a question, just a comment. This was so awesome, and I can't wait to share the information with my chapter. Oh, thanks, Stephanie. Kim from Wisconsin says, I'm careful about what I eat and exercise regularly, but the scale isn't budging. How can I stay motivated while I'm stuck at this plateau?
Great question. That is incredibly frustrating, and we have all found ourselves there. So the biggest thing I would say, just keep trusting the process and don't quit, because a lot of people in your spot right now, they'll just get frustrated and then they'll give up and they won't ever achieve those goals. So I would say just be very mindful of what you're eating. I'll notice that, like, maybe I'm thinking I'm only having like a teaspoon of peanut butter, and maybe it's a tablespoon. Or I'm thinking my portion sizes are smaller than what they actually are. So get really particular about your like serving sizes and your portions, because that could be a sneaky thing. And then maybe you want to change something up. Maybe you should try eating some different foods, or maybe it's time to try a different workout regimen. But regardless, if you keep persevering towards that and build a bigger why, you'll definitely shake that plateau.
Awesome. So we've got Kathleen here, and she says, I need advice on how to avoid emotional eating. You get that a lot. That's a good question.
that is far and away my biggest struggle. Kind of, I mentioned earlier about 8:30 at night when I've had like just like a busy, taxing day, and I sit down at night and get the kids down and just all the responsibilities of my day, I will feel like I'm owed something like that. We can get into that ownership mentality. And so my answer would actually be pretty similar to the cravings answer, in the sense of try to pay attention to when the need for emotional eating happens. Is it usually at night? Is it a certain day? Does it happen after you've experienced a certain conversation or confrontation or situation? Try to notice those patterns, because when we know what the patterns are, we can start to undo them and create our own patterns and habits. So again, a lot of my emotional eating happens at night, and I noticed it was happening when I was downstairs versus sitting in a different room of the house. So even me just moving to a different room helped make a difference. And also trying to find other ways to sort of fill that emotional need. I found that making a phone call to a friend or writing, journaling have been great ways for me to process the emotion instead of trying to eat.
Awesome. So Brenda from British Columbia, it's so cool. Our international audience tonight is just really great. She wants to know if you have any tips with portion control.
Great question. Try to pre-measure things if you can. Like if you're, buying like almonds or certain snacks, try to like pre-portion them in so you don't even have to think about it. So you just grab it and you go, you know what you're already doing. But the thing with portion control is it just takes time. And so we're not used to maybe measuring, or we're not used to paying attention to our serving sizes. And so you just got to give yourself the time and the energy to start measuring and to start paying attention. I know sometimes when I've gone out to eat before and those portions can be so big, right away I'll put half of it in a to-go container, or I'll cut it and move it to the other side of my plate. So maybe if you're cooking at home too, you want to try the same thing. Maybe cut your meal in half or into a smaller portion size and set it aside right away so you won't be tempted to do that. But most importantly, it's just the awareness and taking the time and energy to track those.
Awesome. So Lisa would love for you to repeat what you were saying about belief cards a little bit more.
Definitely. So I would take maybe about 10 is a good place to start, index cards. And if you've got a negative thought that is reoccurring, what would be the opposite of that? Okay, so maybe you want to run a 5K, but you keep telling yourself you're not a runner. And so you start to believe that you're not a runner, so you don't take any action towards that goal. So maybe your belief on that card would say, I am a runner. And you would repeat that to yourself at least daily until you start to believe that. Or maybe you don't believe that you're beautiful, and so your belief card would say, I am beautiful, and that would be something that you would read to yourself daily until it starts to become something that you believe after you've heard it repeated so many times. So I kept those by my bed. And actually I even like audio recorded them on my phone. So if I was not by my cards, I could still play them and hear them like kind of spoken over me. And that was really helpful too.
So Loretta has a good question. She says, how do you keep the group that is in your inner circle? How do you keep new and fresh ideas coming to help everyone lose weight? So I think she's talking about when you find that community with that common goal, how do you all kind of find new ideas to keep going?
Great question. You've got to be just a student of learning. And so I would encourage, just continually listening to new podcasts, reading new books, or trying new workout classes, new recipes. You've got to just be a student who's willing to learn and try new things. And then over time, while you're willing to expand your circles and kind of get out of your comfort zone and try something new, coming and sharing that new information. So if we do the same things we've always done, we're not going to have those. And so it requires us to be brave, kind of step outside of ourselves and try new things and learn in the process and be able to share those.
All right. So Tina says, I lost 60 pounds 5 years ago, but I've gained it back and more. What I worked before isn't working now. How can I find new ideas and ways to lose?
Great question. Well, be encouraged that you have done it before, so you know you'll be able to do it again, because you have a track record of success. So it's not working what you did before. And so again, I would just say you're going to have to be willing to try some new things, to get a little uncomfortable. Maybe it's trying some new recipes, trying different eating plans. Maybe it's trying different workout classes, or switching up how often you eat and what that looks like, but just trying new things, and just try 1 or 2 new things and try them maybe over a week's time, and be able to so you can kind of monitor and track what your changes are. Also, like, look for people who have lost the amount of weight that you want to lose, and just get curious. Ask questions, ask what they're doing, ask what they did, how they've kept the weight off, how they continue to lose weight, and just get your curiosity sort of piqued by having these conversations with other people. And the more information you can get, the better. And just try a few things and over time, and see how those work. But always becoming a student of someone who knows more than you is a great place to start.
Loving that, and I love the always be curious. So everyone, that's Maggie just stepping in, and just to keep an eye on the clock here, I think we have time for about 3 more questions.
So we've got one from Brenda. She wants to know about your thoughts on journaling and when you've got time to do that. How do you make time to sit down and journal?
Great.
If you do that.
Yeah, yes, I do. I'm kind of constantly always evolving this, because my life is always sort of changing. So actually, that was one of my goals this year that I wanted to be more mindful of, was to be more consistent with that. And so I have a chair in my room that every day I have the same time. Once I get my kids on the bus and before my work day starts at 7:30, I take 30 minutes and I take some quiet time and some reflection, and just kind of check in with myself, how I'm feeling, and just use that time to be able to journal and kind of like let that out. Sometimes I will at night, what I talked about earlier. If there's like a craving, or I'm noticing like a need for emotional eating, I try, if I've got the energy and the bandwidth, to do some journaling then, because there's obviously something in that moment that's affecting my behavior. So I try to get to the root of that. So just an awareness of that. And also, if you can find some consistency within your days, it's great if you can have it be at the same time, but if you can't, even just putting forth that is important too. Maybe even sometimes it might sound silly, but like buying a new journal, or maybe you have like your favorite like cup of coffee or tea that you drink, and so it kind of becomes like a treat or like a ritual that you look forward to too.
Awesome. Let's see, some of these we've already answered. We've got a few questions on, could you give some more examples on I am statements? Angie was asking about more examples and the praise cards.
Yeah.
Is that the belief? Okay.
The belief cards, yeah, same kind of thing. I guess what I would do is maybe for a day, just try to capture your thoughts and pay attention to those negative thoughts that are coming in. Maybe you have a little journal, or maybe on your phone, you can, once those come in, you can be mindful of what those are, and then you can write the opposite. But what's important, and I don't know if this is what the question was directed towards, but to write those statements as if you already are those things, okay? So that when you're reading them and you're saying those things to yourself, it's in a tense as if you have already earned that. Because once that belief is rooted and we start to believe that, our actions will rise to meet that. And so I know I used to have a fear of speaking in front of people, and I used to be really shy. I'm very introverted. And so that was very difficult for me to try new things. And so one of my cards that it says is, I am very social and I love meeting new people. So that was one of my cards I've had before. Another card that I've had was that I'm a successful person in all that I do. I am committed to seeing a process to the end. So it just depends on where you see those shortcomings are, but pay attention to what those are, and then flip them in the opposite direction, and in ways that you sound like you already are that person.
All right, so we've got the last question here tonight, and we're going to pick Rose's question. Can you give some examples on non-scale victories? I know this is all the buzz just in kind of magazines and weight loss groups now.
Absolutely, totally. A great question. So that's going to look different for everybody, but some of the non-scale victories I've had or I've coached other people have had to do with maybe a pant size, because maybe your body is changing and your inches are changing, but the weight on the scale is not moving. So maybe you want to pay attention to a certain dress or pant size. Maybe you want to make sure you're doing inch or circumference measurements, maybe like one at your waistline or your belly button at your hips, because those numbers can be going down too as well, but the scale might not be moving there. Or maybe you want to run a 5K, that would be a non-scale victory, or you've got a certain like workout element that you want to incorporate. I know for mine right now, I want to be able to do 5 unassisted pull-ups. So that's something fun to focus on when I'm feeling frustrated with my weight being stuck. I can shift my perspective to that. And that can be something that I could be working towards there. Or maybe it's you ate clean for a whole week, that kind of thing. But those non-scale victories, or maybe you can run a distance that you never able to run before, but focusing on things outside of weight loss is so important because the scale is such a small part of the picture. It really does not always tell what the outside is doing, what's happening on the inside. And so to be able to shift your focus to other things, to still be excited and still see progression towards your goal is really important.
All right, that was so awesome. Thank you everyone for taking time out of your Thursday to join us and Becky and to just like feel more inspired. I'm pretty inspired.
I am too.
Probably gonna just go sign up for a 5K, maybe a 10K.
Actually go to the gym tonight instead of just bring my workout clothes home. So thank you, Becky.
Yeah, we've got a lot of questions of how to stay in contact. I see a few that says, what's the Facebook page again? So just as a reminder, to stay connected, she does have her social media outlet kind of names and the email addresses in the right-hand corner there. And as she said, feel free to reach out or maybe just say, hey, let her know what you thought of the presentation. We do have a lot of those comments too. So thank you again, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And just as a reminder for all of our online members, feel free to head over to the TOPS online chat so you can continue the conversation. And also for our in-person chapter members, feel free to talk about this in your next TOPS meeting. I know you have all recently received your TOPS 2020 Chapter Vision Kit, so this is a great way to kick off the new year and stay motivated. So thanks again. Thank you, Becky, for taking the time out, and we will see you all soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Have a great
everyone.
night.